Welcome back to the channel. My name is Steven. I'm a pharmacist and I own 52 units of real estate. So I had a great question in the comments asking, can I share my thoughts on a series LLC? So a series LLC is only applicable to some states like Oklahoma, where I do invest, but I do not own a series LLC, to be fully transparent. So what's nice about a series LLC, if you do have it in a state that honors it like Oklahoma, is you have a parent company. So let's just say I call it Blue LLC. And then from the Blue LLC, that's the parent LLC, I can have little baby LLCs. I can have Red LLC, Orange LLC, Yellow LLC, Purple LLC. I can have all these little sub LLCs that I can open up under the parent company, and then those baby LLCs can then own a bunch of real estate, right? So it's nice in terms of asset protection because you want to keep things very simple because they all funnel into that parent series LLC, but then yet you keep all your real estate assets separate, right? So that's the nice part. If you live in Oklahoma, you can get a series LLC, which you can have baby LLCs, which then you can use to hold your real estate. So for me, living in California, we don't have series LLCs, or we don't honor it. And even though I live in California, if I were to own a series LLC in Oklahoma, for tax purposes, the California Franchise Tax Board will treat each baby LLC as its own LLC. So I would pay $800 a year to the Franchise Tax Board. So that's why I don't really do the series LLC in Oklahoma, right? Because let's just say I had a series LLC with like 4 little baby LLCs because I own 4 apartment complexes. California would view that as 4 separate LLCs, so that I would have to pay the Franchise Tax Board $800 each, so that'd be $3,200 total, right? But if I was in Oklahoma, it's easy. If I lived in Oklahoma, it'd be easier to just have a series LLC, and then from that, have the little baby ones own your real estate, right? So it's more advantageous in terms of asset protection because, like I said, you want to keep your apartments separate. But because I live in California, I don't want too many LLCs right now. I don't want to keep each LLC to roughly around 40, 50 units, or about not too much equity in the deals, but I just want my tax not to be as complicated so that I just have fewer LLCs. But if I was living in Oklahoma, I would probably each property would have its own baby LLC from that. So that's the advantage if you live in a more asset protection friendly state like Oklahoma. But for me, who lives in California but I invest in Oklahoma, I do not get that benefit of that series LLC. So it's a good thought for those who have access to it. If you do, then reach out to an asset protection attorney that can help you set that up. But to me, it seems a lot easier to have a parent LLC, and then from there you can make a little baby LLCs to own it. So my makeshift workaround is I have a Wyoming LLC, which is the holding company, and then that holding company will then hold different LLCs that I have to file and pay for individually, and then those individual LLCs are owned by the parent LLC, then the parent LLC is owned by my trust. So that's my layers of asset protection. And then from there, each LLC will own, a couple pieces of real estate, right? Versus if I was, let's just say, living in Oklahoma, I could have, a series LLC, and that series LLC can then own little baby ones to spread out my real estate a little bit easier. So that's really my thoughts of the LLC. It's just I think it's just a convenient way to own a bunch of LLCs under the same parent company. So that's the advantage of it. Like I said, I don't get that benefit, unfortunately. And, for me, asset protection is a blend of, you want to have asset protection, you want to have privacy, and you don't want to have overly complicated asset protection structure either. So it's that fine balance, right? So asset protection holistically is you're going to have irrevocable or revocable living trust, which is just telling how to manage your assets in case something happens to you, right? And it also provides a layer of privacy and anonymity, right? From there, that avoids probate court as well, because it's very clear how your assets are handled. The next layer is you want to have a holding company, and this holding company is if you have a lot of real estate. So I would say at least over $2 million of real estate equity, and I have a Wyoming holding company because it's cheap. The filing fees are cheap, and it gives you nice asset protection, right, as well. Then that Wyoming holding company will then own my let's say my 4 or 5 different LLCs, which then hold my real estate, right? So how the money flows is if those 4 properties, those 4 LLCs make money, they'll distribute the profits to the holding company, and then that holding company will then distribute the profits over to me, right? So that's how the money kind of flows, so that I keep my personal expenses and my business expenses separate, right? So that's kind of the overarching asset protection. And then within the asset protection, each individual property will have their own insurance, right? So you have my 26 unit apartment complex has insurance, my 20 unit, my single family homes, they all have their own insurance. And if I want to go even more robust, I'll have a commercial real estate umbrella policy on top of that, right? To give me asset protection on my real estate as well as personal asset protection. Then myself, I have, health insurance, car insurance, as well as a commercial policy as well to create that multi-layered asset protection approach, right? So that's kind of it. And then later, as my real estate brings up more equity, what I do is I call it equity stripping. So what you do is you have lines of credit on your high equity properties, so that if something were to happen to you, or like there was a lawsuit or something, you could equity strip the deal, because the banks are always in the first position and second position, so they get their money first, right? So that's what I would do. So like, for example, when I'm ready to sell a property and pay off my primary residence, I'm gonna be sitting on like $900,000 of equity, but what I would do is I'll probably have a HELOC on the property, so that if something were to happen, I just can strip the equity quickly and then lend that money to my holding company, right? Like, so it's a loan to my holding company, which is a separate business, separate entity. So that's really how you do it, right? Like for my apartments, I built up a decent amount of equity. I have a line of credit on that. So if something were to happen and, lawsuits were to happen, I would strip the equity out of it so that it's not as juicy of a pie to come after, if that makes sense. So that's kind of the multi-pronged approach to asset protection. So, to kind of summarize, you want LLCs for asset protection. You want irrevocable living trust so that it doesn't go to probate. You want good insurance on your properties, as well as umbrella insurance to cover everything. And you want equity stripping in case you built up a lot of equity over time, right? So, as you get wealthier and wealthier, you get to focus more on asset protection, privacy, and all that. So, I like to self-educate myself on all of that. So anyways, hopefully I answer your question about my thoughts on Series LLC, as well as kind of give you a brief overview of asset protection as it pertains to multifamily real estate. If you want to buy your first multifamily deal with some guidance, check out the mentorship program down below. Otherwise, let me know what questions you have. Please like, comment, subscribe. Hope to see you in the next one. Thank you so much.